Hey, welcome back to Let's Play Guitar. This lesson is part of our Improve Your Playing series. I want to thank all you guys for your support in January. As you know, every month I make a special video here on Patreon on different topics, and these videos are aimed to improve your playing abilities. So last month I made a lesson on how to read tabs and fingerstyle tabs for those guitarists who want to learn from the tabs that I post here, and we're a little bit confused as to how to read specific characters and symbols, and how different techniques are represented in the tabs that I make. And before that, the first masterclass was on a very important topic in percussive fingerstyle guitar, and that was how to perform a thumb slap and how to perform slap and strum. So this time I thought I would make another lesson on percussive fingerstyle guitar, and today we'll be learning how to use our wrists to add percussion in fingerstyle guitar. Alright, then let's start. I'll show you how to do it first, and then for the rest of the lesson we'll take a look at important exercises where we put this technique to use. And it's really important to practice those exercises because practice makes perfect. So let's start. Okay, so to perform a wrist thump, you're going to use this part of your right hand, your wrist, and just tap here on the body of the guitar. Like this. Okay, so there's no specific point where you want to do it. It's different for different people. So just where you feel comfortable, and right over here. This is where I do it, close to the saddle. Okay. Now this sound that you get, the sound tries to mimic the sound of the bass drum in a drum set. So this is the snare drum, which we call the thumb slap, and this is the kick drum. So that's why both of these techniques are part of fingerstyle, percussive fingerstyle guitar. Okay, so I first learned the thumb slap, and then later on I learned the wrist thump. So you can definitely add this one more technique in your percussive fingerstyle guitar. Okay, so there's no specific point, like I said. You just tap your wrist near the saddle in the body of the guitar, and you get the sound of the bass drum. Now, there's one really important thing that you have to keep in mind, and that's the way you move your wrists, the way you move your hand. If you watch the thumb slap lesson, you'll remember the right way to perform these percussive techniques, because I showed you that over there, and I'm going to show you again. You're not supposed to do it like this. This is wrong. And this is one mistake that a lot of people make when they're starting out on fingerstyle guitar. What some people tend to do is they take their hand away from the body of the guitar and then pull it back again to make either the thumb slap like this, or to do the wrist thump, which is not the right technique, which is not the right way. And I call this the arm movement, where you're sort of using your elbows, the muscles of your elbows, to get your arm away from the guitar. What you're supposed to do is this. I'm not taking my arm away. I'm just very close to the body of the guitar, so that while I'm playing, this is what I'm doing. So here, you're using your wrist muscle to bring it in like this. The way you ride a bike, that's how you do it. Okay, so there's absolutely no need to take your arm away and then bring it in to make the sound. You can keep your hand over here, over the strings where you're picking the strings, and at the same time, just this action, this wrist muscle, you do it like that. And same goes for the thumb slap, where I taught you that you don't have to do it like this. You have to twist using your wrist over here, you have to twist your hand and play the thumb slap. So again, make sure you watch that video, because I showed you the exact same how to perform a thumb slap, and this was one very important point, that you make sure you don't make that mistake of taking your arm away from the guitar. So the reason why you don't want to take your arm away is because the chances of you making mistakes increase. You're playing notes right before you do the wrist thump, right before you do the thumb slap, and you're playing notes right after you do the wrist thump. Okay, you have no time to take your arm away from the guitar, and it's best to make sure that your hand is as near to the strings as possible. So I hope you now know how to perform a wrist thumb properly. This plays wrist movement, makes the sound of a bass drum. do not take your hand away. Now I want to show you certain exercises where this technique is used. Okay, so very important to do those exercises. You have not, if you're able to do this, that doesn't mean that you know how to perform a wrist thumb. You might know it, but while performing it in an arrangement, that's where the skill is. So you have to practice this wrist thumb. So I'm going to give you different practice exercises, a total of 10. Right now we're going to cover all 10 exercises, and make sure you practice all 10 of them, because they will apply this technique differently. All of them will apply it differently, so you have to know all of those exercises. Alright then, let's start. You see the tabs over here, and you guys know that I use the wrist thumb by writing a W, and that's not in any of the strings. It's actually outside the 6 strings, the W. Okay, because the wrist thumb can be used with the bass notes, so we can't write it over any particular string. We have to write the symbol away, outside of the 6 strings. So W is how we represent it in my tabs at least. The first thing that you see over here is just W's. So what we're doing over here is simply doing the wrist thumb. Okay, so try doing that, and make sure that you use a metronome. But if you're just starting out, if you have difficulty to keep time, make sure you put a metronome on and at any beats per minute, and you start doing the wrist thumb along with that. Okay, so that's all that we're doing in this first exercise. Now, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, we use the wrist thumb with the bass note. Here you see, we're going to play open E string. And by the way, I'm just using a capo on the 2nd fret. We're going to play open E string with our thumb, like that. And we're going to do wrist thumb at the same time. So you see 0 on the E string and W written right in the vertical alignment. So that's why what we're going to do is this. Now this is something that I want you to become very comfortable with. Okay, picking strings with your thumb while doing the wrist thumb, because like I said before, most of the times this is exactly what we're doing. So this exercise, now in this exercise you should try picking other bass notes along with doing the wrist thumb. So here we're picking 3rd fret on the 5th string, and along with that we'll do the wrist thumb. So this is how it goes. Okay, fairly easy. Just try using different, try using the open D string. I want you to become very comfortable with this technique of using the thumb to play a bass note, and you can use other frets over here while performing the wrist thumb. Now let's take a look at the next exercise. Now I told you that we're using bass notes while doing the wrist thumb. We can also pick other notes with that, because 4 of our fingers are not doing anything. So they can also pick any note in any arrangement. So in this case, we're picking open E string with the wrist thumb. At the same time, we're picking open on the 2nd string. So if we did not have the wrist thumb, we would play like this. And then 3 and 1, C, G, and D. Now, on each of these, for all of these notes, we're going to have wrist thumb. So here's how it goes. Okay, so not just a bass note, I'm using my middle finger to play that 2nd string open, using the thumb, and at the same time doing the wrist thumb. So I want you to become comfortable with picking notes with these fingers and playing the bass note at the same time and doing the wrist thumb. Okay, so this is the best exercise for that. Changing the bass note to 5th string, you got 1st fret on 2nd string, go to G, coming back to top string, bass note, and all the time we're using that wrist thumb. Now bass note is 4th string while doing the wrist thumb, and 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Okay, now let's try adding more notes to fill up this exercise. So let's go to the next exercise, and here are the tabs. Open and open on second string and top string, then third string, second string, first string, and back to second string. Okay, next. Okay, again, if you want, you can have a metronome, and this is a very good exercise because it can be a little challenging because you're doing the wrist thumb, you're playing other notes, you're playing bass notes, you're playing melody notes. Okay, so this is a really good exercise. Okay, instead of second fret, you can also use open on fourth string if you want. Okay, so keep practicing this exercise. And now I want to show you the next exercise where we're going to add a thumb slap. It's very common to use wrist thumb and thumb slap in an arrangement, both of those techniques in an arrangement. So simple thumb slap, again, if you don't know how to perform a thumb slap, that is not something that I'm going to teach you right now, because as I said before, the first masterclass was on how to perform a thumb slap and slap and strum. So to learn both of those techniques, please watch that video, complete masterclass showing you and all the exercises, practice those exercises as well. So over here we see we basically, what we're doing here is we're deleting one note from our previous exercise, and in place of that note we're putting a simple thumb slap. Okay, so here's how it goes. Right, so again, keep practicing these exercises over and over again. Let's try it one more time. Here in these exercises, we're just using the wrist thumb on the first count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the first count. Alright, so if you're comfortable with this, let's go to the next exercise. Alright, now making it a little more complicated, we're now using thumb slaps, slap and strum technique while doing the wrist thumb on the first count. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so slap and strum, very common technique. Again, watch that masterclass if you don't know how to do it. So simple thing, nothing is changing over here. First count, doing the wrist thumb, slap and strum, open again on second string, then go to the next, go to C, okay, go to G, then D. Okay, now if you can play this, you should be playing it in flow, in full flow, keeping time, and you should not be doing, and then you have to think about doing the wrist thumb on the next one, or if you forgot about it, you have to remind yourself. That means that you have to practice this over and over again. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that you can't just practice one, if there's one tab over here, just once. Okay, it has to be multiple times, and daily practice is the best if you can find a little bit of time every day to perform this wrist thumb, and that is very good. Okay, so I'm giving you all these practices so that ultimately it becomes natural to you, because when I first started out, I didn't even know how to use a thumb slap. So when I was comfortable with this, then I added the wrist thumb, and at first it was a little uncomfortable, but now it's almost second nature to me. Alright, let's take a look at this next exercise. Really interesting. We were just using wrist thumb on the first count in the previous exercises. Now here you can see 3 wrist thumbs on each chord. For this particular exercise, I'm actually using Coldplay's song called The Scientist, and I'm using the intro for that song. If you want to learn the whole arrangement, I've already uploaded it on YouTube, and this is how the intro is gonna go while using 3 wrist thumbs for each chord. So open and open on 2nd string and top string with the wrist thumb. Okay, shouldn't have problems in that. It's the first count, 1 and 2 and. Here, as you can read in the tabs, open on 3rd string, open on top string, we're using another wrist thumb. And then right after that, we're using another wrist thumb while playing open on top string and 2nd string also open. So wrist thumb is being done on 1st count, 1, 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so it's on 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and go to the next chord, 1 and 2 again and 3. We're going to use it 2 times and 3. Okay, now let's look at the next chords over here. Go to G, 3rd fret on top string, open on 2nd string, 1 and 2 and 3. And again. Okay, so this might be a little complicated because in the very end, on 2 and 3, we are changing the bass notes. Okay, moving from 3rd fret on top string to 2nd fret on top string. Okay, so this is a really good exercise because we're using multiple times the wrist thumb. Okay. Now I want to show you a little more complicated version of the same thing that we played. Let's try adding slaps and strums over here. Okay, so instead of that open 2nd string, we've replaced it with slap and strum like this, open on 2nd and 3rd strings while doing the slap. Okay, so this is another exercise that you can practice, and the wrist thumbs are not changing, they're on the same position. Okay, so all that's happening is that we are adding slaps and strums. C. Next. All right. So, what we're doing is we're trying to make ourselves that comfortable that we can play other techniques while doing the wrist thumb. I have not yet added pull-offs and hammer-ons and slides and all of that, so you can do that on your own. You can, if you want, you can create your own practice routines. Right now I want to show you different positions where you play the wrist thumb. Okay, let's take a look at the next exercise. So in this exercise, first of all, I'm using the wrist thumb. Instead of W, I've written O in italics because that's how I've described the thumb slap over here, the wrist thumb over here. This is an older lesson, so that's why. This is Apologize by One Republic. Okay, so here what we're doing is we haven't yet played the thumb slap, the wrist thumb by itself. So no notes are being played along with the wrist thumb in certain places. Okay, so let's try this routine over here. Okay, so on the first place over here on A minor, we're picking open on 5th string, 2nd fret on 4th, 3rd string and 1st fret on 2nd string, A minor, all these notes together while doing the wrist thumb. So then as you can just follow the tabs over here, open on 5th string, slap and strum, then again 1st fret on 2nd string. So now over here on F over here, playing 3 notes with doing the thumb slap, then playing 2nd and 3rd strings together. Now here we play the wrist thumb by itself, okay, and then we do a slap and strum, and then playing second string. So here you see on F. Okay, so make sure that when you do the wrist thumb by itself, you're not out of sync or anything. It should be in perfect synchronization. Instead of that wrist thumb, you could play first fret on top string, like on A minor, and then we're playing open on 5th string, right? There could have been a wrist thumb by itself over there, so that would look like this. Okay, same on F over here. So if we did not have the wrist thumb by itself, this could be. Okay, so that's what we're doing in this exercise. Being able to play wrist thumbs when there's no note being played along with it. Okay, let's move to the next part over here, which comes to C chord, and now G. Okay, same picking pattern on the right hand. Okay, let's continue this. There's a change in the very end. Now we're here on J. Okay, so here we're doing 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then slap and strum. So okay. So that's another good exercise for us to practice. Alright, so let's take another look at the next exercise. Really easy. I want you to practice some solo percussive licks. Here we're using the wrist thumb and thumb slap. So very easy. Okay, so what we're doing over here is 2 times wrist thumb, doing the thumb slap, and then 3 times. 1, 2, 3, slap again, and then you can just do a percussive tap using your four fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The pick guard over here, right? So this is also something that I use in some of my fingerstyle arrangement. You know, they're tapping 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fingers with our nails. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then wrist thumb, and then doing the thumb slap. So you see how interdependent these techniques are to one another, because when we use them together, the thumb slap or the wrist thumb, they make the song, they make the arrangement more interesting. That's why what's important is to not just learn this by itself. You know, you might know how to do this, but how you apply that in different arrangements using different ways. That's why these exercises were aimed at doing exactly that. Okay, so we checked out how we can incorporate different techniques. We are playing the thumb slap different ways. First, we just tried playing the bass note and doing the wrist thumb. Then we added the melody along with that. Okay, so keep practicing these exercises, and what you can also do is create your own practice routines to practice this technique. And of course, you have my fingerstyle arrangement playlist on my channel, and there you will find lots of lessons, lots of arrangements like The Scientist or Apologize or I'm Yours or November Rain and many more where I use the wrist thumbs. Okay, so just go out there and try practicing some of those arrangements. And also if you don't know how to do a thumb slap, if you would like a few exercises on that or a slap and strum, then make sure to check out my first Improve Your Playing series, the first video over there. So that is it. I want to thank you guys for all your support. I'll see you guys next time. There's lots of more content coming for you guys. Thanks for all your support. I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Till then, take care and goodbye.